I wasn't ready. I never imagined a day would come when I would have to say goodbye to Tatiana. I wasn't ready to live without her, to watch our children grow without their mother, to face mornings that will forever feel empty. George Moran whispered, his voice breaking as he looked out over the room filled with family, friends, and mourners. George Moran's tribute for his late wife was more than words. It was a raw, heartbreaking tribute to a life cut tragically short. Tatiana Schlossberg, granddaughter of President John F. Kennedy, died on December 30, 2025 at just 35 years old after a courageous battle with acute myeloid leukemia. The private funeral, held on January 5, 2026 at St. Ignatius of Loyola in New York City, brought together the Kennedy family and close friends, reflecting a day steeped in love, grief, and remembrance. As Moran spoke, the room felt the weight of a life that touched so many. He described Tatiana not only as the woman he loved, but as the mother of their two young children, Edwin and Josephine. His voice trembled as he recounted her joy, her determination, and her indomitable spirit. He recalled their early days together at Yale, the moment they fell in love, and the years of building a life full of laughter, support, and shared dreams. "She gave me everything she had," George said, fighting to steady himself. "She loved fiercely, lived fully, and even in her final days, she thought only of others, her family, her children, her friends, and the work she believed could make the world better." Those gathered at the church could feel the raw honesty in his words. The Kennedy family, accustomed to navigating public attention and private tragedy, showed up with an overwhelming sense of unity. Caroline Kennedy, Tatiana's mother, stood by George's side, her hands often wrapped protectively around her granddaughter Josephine. For Caroline, this was heartbreak revisited. She was just 5 years old when her father, President John F. Kennedy, was assassinated. The parallels were devastating: a mother losing a child too soon, a family grieving deeply in public view, yet holding onto each other as the world watched. Attendees included Jack Schlossberg, Tatiana's brother, Rose Kennedy Schlossberg, her sister, Maria Shriver, the cousin, and a number of close friends and dignitaries, including David Letterman, Nancy Pelosi, John Kerry, Michael Bloomberg, and even President Joe Biden. The day was heavy, the grief tangible, yet through it all, George Moran's words created a bridge between heartbreak and memory. He spoke of Tatiana's love for life. He described her mornings spent laughing with their children, her dedication to her writing, and the unshakable optimism she carried, even when facing a terminal diagnosis. In November 2025, Tatiana publicly revealed her leukemia diagnosis in a moving essay for The New Yorker. She wrote about her disbelief and shock after doctors discovered the disease shortly after she gave birth to her second child, Josephine, in May 2024. George referenced her courage during that period, the strength it took to confront mortality while remaining a loving mother and devoted wife. "She fought with everything she had," George said, his voice cracking. "And even when the world told her time was limited, she lived every day for our children, for me, and for the ideals she believed in." He recalled small moments that captured her essence: the way she laughed at simple jokes, how she held their children close, and the quiet generosity she extended to friends and strangers alike. He spoke of family gatherings, celebrations, and even the mundane routines that became treasures because of her presence. Every anecdote, every memory was a testament to the life she led, brief in years, yet extraordinary in impact. Tatiana's personal story, as George recounted, was intertwined with history. She was the granddaughter of President John F. Kennedy and First Lady Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, and the middle child of Caroline Kennedy and Edwin Schlossberg. Despite this lineage, she did not live in the shadow of her family's prominence. She became her own person, a journalist, an environmental advocate, and a mother devoted to raising her children with love and purpose. George also reflected on her family's unwavering support. Rose had donated stem cells to Tatiana, a testament to the family's deep bonds. Jack, though a half-match for transplantation, explored every possible avenue to help his sister. Caroline Kennedy provided constant love and guidance, preparing to raise her grandchildren while keeping Tatiana's memory alive. The Kennedy family's commitment to one another underscored the remarkable network of love and resilience that shaped Tatiana's life. Throughout the eulogy, George reminded the congregation of Tatiana's dedication to her children. "She was not only the center of our family," he said, "but the foundation on which our children will grow. She taught Edwin and Josephine how to love, how to be kind, how to find joy in small things, and how to face life's challenges with courage." These words were a poignant reminder that though Tatiana was gone, her influence would persist in the lives of those she loved most. The images from the funeral were equally moving. Photographs captured Caroline Kennedy holding her granddaughter close, George carrying young Edwin down the church steps, and mourners enveloped in quiet sorrow. The visual representation of grief mirrored the spoken words, creating an indelible memory of a family enduring an almost unimaginable loss with grace and dignity. As George continued, he revisited the significance of Tatiana's work, Beyond family, she had committed herself to environmental journalism, advocating for awareness and action on climate change. She approached every article and project with integrity, curiosity, and care, using her platform to inspire change. George's words celebrated her professional accomplishments, ensuring that her life was remembered not only for familial connections, but also for the impact she made on society. Tatiana lived a life that mattered, George said. Not because of the name she carried, but because of the choices she made, the love she gave, and the courage she showed. We are all better for having known her. He paused, letting the weight of her absence settle over the room before transitioning into a final tribute. He spoke directly to her children. Edwin, Josephine, your mother was the strongest, most beautiful soul you will ever know. Carry her love in your hearts, carry her memory in your actions. I promise to do everything I can to ensure you always feel her presence even when she is gone. The words were simple yet devastatingly powerful. Every person in the church felt the enormity of what had been lost: a mother, a sister, a daughter, a friend, a voice of conscience, and a light in the world. George's ability to articulate both grief and hope was a reflection of the love he shared with Tatiana and the responsibility he now carries for their children. After the funeral, friends and family shared their own reflections. Maria Shriver, for instance, spoke of Tatiana's love for life and her relentless spirit. She described the pain of losing a cousin who fought like hell to save herself and lived fully until the very end. Other attendees echoed the sentiment, emphasizing how Tatiana's life, though tragically short, had left an enduring impact on everyone she encountered. As George concluded, he offered a final reflection on the life they had shared. I wasn't ready to say goodbye, I may never be ready, but I will carry Tatiana with me in my heart, in our children, in every act of love I can give. She will never truly be gone because the love she gave and the life she lived will remain forever. For those who listened, the words resonated beyond the walls of the church. They were a reminder that even in the face of death, love endures. Tatiana Schlossberg's life, her courage, and her devotion to family continue to inspire, and George Moran's speech ensured that her memory would live on in the hearts of all who loved her.